My entitled sister didn't buy winter clothes for her kids, and I had to buy them so they wouldn't freeze. We made sure my ex-brother-in-law got the kids not long after.
I mean, that was a summary. Tell me the whole story in 2 lines.
Oh.
Now expand.
Yeah. Just to preface, my ex-brother-in-law did take the kids away from my sister. She's a narcissist and a master manipulator, and she probably would have had no problem lying in court to get her way if it weren't for the overwhelming evidence against her. Her ex took the kids and didn't bring them once he was sure she couldn't do anything about it. And soon the court gave him majority custody. My sister only gets to see her kids about 2 days a month and on some holidays. This particular incident goes back to winter 2023, before my sister was evicted from the family property. At that time, her boyfriend had recently died in a car accident that quite possibly wasn't an accident.
Oh.
Technically, she'd just broken up with the guy because he'd cheated on her, and she repeatedly cried to me that she wasn't a cheater herself, which is an outright lie, as she's had 3 affairs that we know of while still married to her ex-husband. And she still thinks I don't know. By that time, she was barely home 2 nights a week. My parents and I were the ones taking care of and paying to feed her kids because she wasn't coming home to feed them. She'd call her kids and ask them what they wanted for dinner, then wouldn't even show up. Our mother got mad at her and over text told her she'd abandoned her children. My sister verbatim responded, capital letters, LOL, exclamation mark. No, I didn't, exclamation mark. She never grew out of her teenage mentality. Even after having 3 kids and her husband joining the military to better support them, she was still acting like a teenager. My mother and I got in touch with my ex-brother-in-law to tell him everything because my sister had her kids so brainwashed that they didn't tell him much until he made them tell him everything. Any good clothes my nephews had, they would only keep at their father's house because they didn't want them torn up by the dogs or smelling like dog's feces. I found out my nephews had no winter clothes at my sister's trailer because my youngest nephew woke me up on an early November morning to ask for a ride to school because he'd missed the bus. He was at my door in 39-degree weather, shivering in nothing but a t-shirt and shorts, and his shoes were falling apart. I asked him where his coat was, and he said he didn't have one anymore. While I was driving him to school, I told him I was going to buy him a coat. He literally said, I am not that cold. And I said, dude, I'm looking at you shivering right now. His shoes were so bad he could barely walk in them. He had to do this limp forward moonwalk shuffle because the bottom of his shoes were coming apart. I super glued them back together that night, and the next day I went out and bought him a coat at a thrift store. He was wearing it to school right away. Then, on the weekend, I took him out clothes shopping and practically bought him a whole wardrobe. He didn't even have decent socks. He was using socks from his brothers and even his mother. I bought him socks, then took him to a thrift store with great prices and bought him a pair of good black sneakers, 2 or 3 long sleeve shirts, 2 sweatshirts, 3 pairs of pants because he had nothing but summer shorts, and a pair of gloves and a knit cap. We rushed everything into the washing machine and he was wearing that stuff to school that Monday. The following weekend, I took my middle nephew out and bought him new socks as well as about the same amount of thrift store clothes. He still wears the green hoodie I got for him back then. I bought him several pairs of pants, sweatshirts, shirts, and a big thick coat, which he really liked. He was wearing that stuff ASAP too. The only thing he didn't need was shoes. I was on a fixed income, and this was not very long before Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I spent around $200 on clothes for those kids because they needed it. My eldest nephew was already living with his dad full-time, so he was fine. I also lent my youngest nephew a Timber Ridge camping cot just so he'd have a decent bed. His tiny room in the trailer had a couch bed previously, but moisture and dogs had destroyed it. I also bought him a sleeping bag because he wasn't sleeping well due to the cot getting cold on the underside. I ended up getting blankets and pillows for both of those kids. After my sister was evicted, we cleaned out the trailer and found out she not only had a brand new sleeping bag in storage, but she also had a hoard of unused blankets hidden under her bed. We were so mad. She let her kids be cold when she had that stuff the whole time. The summer of 2023, all 3 of my nephews were allowed to live around the yards in tents, which they found preferable to living in the trailer with their mum, her boyfriend, and the stinky dogs. I ran power cords from the house to all 3 of their tents, got all 3 of them fans and ice coolers, and lent 2 of them camping cots to sleep on. I also let the eldest stay in my camper trailer from time to time. When telling people this stuff, the first words out of their mouths are usually, "You're a good uncle." Meanwhile, my sister was busy drinking, partying, doing drugs, fighting with her piece of shit boyfriend, and making trouble for all of us. We worked in secret with my ex-brother-in-law to make sure those kids were safe, and he took them that December. Then he took my sister back to court. And before anyone points out, my parents and I are very remorseful for not taking action sooner. But my sister had us all mentally beaten down. She's a chronic manipulator who makes up stuff and then spreads lies. She had people all over the area believing the things that she said about our parents. My parents couldn't go out to the local restaurant without getting side glances from people. But after we kicked out my sister, all of that stopped. She was poisoning everyone against our parents, and she wonders why we had enough of her.
What a story.
Wow. I'm so glad that OP was in those kids' lives. Not all heroes wear capes. The title sounded mad, I'm not going to lie.
Am I wrong for running away because my parents were late to my graduation over a labubu? Oh God. Okay, I know this sounds so ridiculous and insane. I, 18 female, am adopted and was adopted as a baby. My parents thought they couldn't have kids, even tried IVF. So when my sister Princess, 10 female, was born, it was a miracle. Everything changed. Princess was spoiled and was clearly the favorite. She never got in trouble and was always right. Got whatever she wanted and acted however she wanted. Her name is Princess. That just showed exactly what they think of her. So you don't need to explain more there. I got it. My parents didn't treat me badly though, but if I got 1 toy, Princess got 5. It sucked. I was jealous and I got in trouble for it. Princess got worse around age 6 when she realized how much she could get away with. She broke my things, hurt others, stole, and hated when anyone else had attention. I became a target. Luckily, I had friends, school, and relatives for support through, so it wasn't the worst. I did great in school and joined clubs and sports just to stay out of the house. During summer, I worked or interned just to avoid her. Now I have a car and a boyfriend since sophomore year. I stay with him a lot and his family loves me, so I'm barely home. Maybe 24 hours at most weekly. My parents didn't care and this was my normal, so I stopped caring too. Anyway, graduation was last month, one of the very few things I asked my parents to come to. I was excited. They seemed excited, and some relatives came too. But Princess had to ruin it. See, her current obsession are these plush doll keychains called Labubus. She collects them, and that specific day, she found a super rare one for sale in our city. Now, instead of contacting the seller and buying it the next day, my parents went to go get it and not only spent $350, my grad gift was $150. Then they showed up so late, our caps were already being tossed. I was hurt. After graduation, I ignored them and went home with my boyfriend. I basically moved in with him at this point, since anytime I went back home, it was to get my things to go back. My parents called, texted, apologized, even came over and begged me to forgive them. Worst part of it all, they think it's the money and sent me another $100. I refused to talk to them. Now it's serious as they're threatening to report me as missing/a runaway and contact my future college if I don't go back home. I feel justified in my actions and don't think it's that serious. But am I the asshole? This really hurts my heart so much for you. You're definitely not the asshole at all. And the fact that they're just coming to you and thinking it's monetary reasons, they're just truly oblivious to how you're feeling. And I think that's one of the most frustrating things about this all. It's you guys don't even understand why I'm upset. You guys missed my graduation completely so that my little sister could have a stupid labubu that you spent $350 on. A good parent, a fair parent would have been like, hey, it's your sister's graduation. We can't do this today. This needs to happen another day. But you didn't care. You prioritized the younger child over the older one. And she feels that. She's felt it for however long she's been born. Especially if she's adopted, right? If you have a child, you adopt a child because you can't have kids, and then you do have a child, you have to go out of your way to make sure you treat those children the same. That child should feel just as much love as their biological kid, or else you shouldn't be able to adopt kids at all. Shame on them. That's what I hate from this. It's how dare you bring someone into your home and then you're able to have your own biological kids and you kind of toss them to the side. I hate that. I'm telling you, the fact that they named her Princess just really screamed how they were going to be. I mean, the only thing I would recommend, right? And I don't know if this would work or not, is seriously having a sit down conversation with them and explain to them your thoughts and feelings. And this can go one of 2 ways. You can sit there, pour your heart out and explain to them how you've been feeling, right? That you're being neglected and that you feel that you're not loved enough because you're not their biological kid. And they really digest that information and change their actions, or it falls upon deaf ears and they try to gaslight you into think no, you're just overthinking it, you're overreacting it, and you get your feelings hurt. Worth a shot? Up to you. Do they care for you? Of course. I do think for sure that they care for you. I would have the conversation, but I know if you're scared to be hurt even more, you know, kind of resist it. You're like, no, why would I put myself in that situation? But yeah. And the fact that your little sister is being a little B, no, I would have went beat the shit out of her too. Like, you can't talk to me like that. Who do you think you are?